So today I want to go on a little rant and a rave about how I think you can make art creepier. In my personal experience, how I make my art creepier, right? Because I feel like often you're taught in a traditional sense how to make your art beautiful or how to make your art accurate or how to make your art do a bunch of different things, but I rarely see a lot of discussion around how to make art creepier generally, right? And I just want to go over some of my tips and tricks for that, or just like my methodology even. And so the first thing I do whenever I'm doing this kind of work is I ask myself, what am I afraid of? What is something that freaks me out that day? Because I think a big part of creating creepy artwork and creating horror artwork in general is understanding fear, right? Because if you're not afraid of anything, you're not going to create good horror artwork. It's like anything, right? You wouldn't, go into an anatomy study not knowing anything, right? If you want to draw the face, you have to know where the eye sockets lay, right? You have to know where the nose is. You have to know where the mouth lays. Like you have to know all this information that is relevant to what you're drawing. And so the same thing applies to creepy work. So what I like to do is make a list, and I like to say, okay, skulls freak me out, empty eyes freak me out. Uh, Long elongated jaws freak me out. Contorted bodies freak me out. I don't like jarring red colors. I don't like red is actually one of my least favorite colors. I use it all the time in my work. I've done 1,000 pieces with red, but red is so aggressive and so oppressive to me, and that's why I use it, right? I think that's the ultimate thing is to take what you don't like and start really exacerbating it. That's the only way I think to make good horror art, at least in my experience. I don't draw things I like. I draw things that frighten me. And in my experience, that usually also frightens the viewer. Even, from the standpoint of maybe they're not afraid of the same things as you, but they get a look into what your fears are, which might be new to them. And from that standpoint, they say, wow, I didn't even think I was afraid of this thing, but this person has unlocked something. And I think also that's what art's about, right? It's about connecting to people. And so you're almost connecting your fears to somebody else, right? Who may have similar fears. Maybe they don't like skulls. Maybe they don't like the ripped off jaws and things like that. And maybe they just never had a chance to really examine that fear. And that's why all of a sudden it connects with them and they say, wow, this is a good horror artist. This is a good creepy artist. They have actually uncovered something within me that I had forgotten about. And this is where I think tone comes into play. I have held a consistent tone with my work for the past couple of years, and I've drawn in a lot of different styles over the course of my career. But I've stuck with this kind of red, black, and white framework for my work, and it's been working out great for me. And that's because within this, what seems like a very small frame that I can work, I actually have so many options, right? People are always telling me, oh, why don't you draw in more than one color? I'm like, this is where I'm comfortable. This is where I can actually experiment the most because in this place of comfort, I have the most control and I have the most knowledge about how to make things creepy within here. So I do think having a consistent tone within your work will help you achieve creepier things because if you can draw where you're comfortable, you're more likely to draw often. And if you're drawing more often, you're discovering more things about your style. You're discovering more ways to make your work frightening, right? And a lot of this information can also be used for any type of art. This could be used for beautiful art, but I think especially in horror work where the subject matter needs to be looked at consistently. There's so little information on it outside of a few different spheres of influence. Practicing on your own and realizing what you think is creepy is going to be one of the best ways of actually creating a new type of fear, a new type of horror. I personally haven't seen a lot of work like the work I make, and that's something I'm extremely proud of. I think it's something that I can really truly express myself in a way a lot of people haven't been able to. And I think that consistent tone has played a huge role in that. And I think wrapping around right to the beginning, what I think really, really, really helps creepy art the most is just research. It's just looking online and looking through books and looking through horror media and looking through whatever you can get your hands on, whether it be movies, comics, pictures, life experiences. You want to study. You want to keep a notebook. You want to write down things. If I think someone says something creepy, I'll write it down. It'll just be a casual conversation. It could be something someone says in a movie. It could be someone says in a show. I'll be like, oh, what they said right there, even out of context, sounds scary. I write that down. If there's a scary situation, maybe there's a scary movie I watch, right? And I don't think it's an extremely scary movie, but the concept is scary. I write that down. And then you can develop, or rather, I develop my own ethos from there. I develop my own world and my own universe of horror from there. I think kind of developing your own method of research and development is huge for creating creepier artwork because once you build this whole world, once you make this whole lore for yourself, it all starts coming together. You'll start making creepier pieces way more consistently. And if you feel like your style is getting stagnant, you can always just add on to it. You can always just develop yourself more. You can always learn more about anatomy. You can always learn more about different things that scare you. But I think establishing that really strong base and researching and creating consistent tone are really the keys to creating good horror artwork. I hope this video was helpful. I think ultimately it's just about researching, never giving up, understanding horror, understanding what makes you afraid, right? So guys, if you have any questions, if you have any ideas for a future video, or if you liked this video, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what makes you afraid. Let me know, if I missed the mark on something and I can improve here. But as always, thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. Thank you to everyone who watched at the end of this video. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. Never give up, keep drawing, and yeah, try and figure out what makes you afraid.